Peace and blessings, everyone. Welcome back to my channel, Queen Set here. And if you're listening to this, we have made it through the first weekend of a brand new year and the first weekend of a brand new decade. So today I want to share with you a story about dreams and desires and the pursuit of those things that make us happy. Grab something, a snack, a beverage, sit back and relax. Unless you're driving, then keep your eyes on the road and your ears to the radio. Let's begin. A boy in a tree looked out to the sea, a sea which washed up to the shores of a city, a sea which sat in the shade of a hill, whereupon stood one tree which the boy lay in still. The boy lay there with purpose, real intent in his heart. The tree was his watchtower, its usual part. The sea was the object of the boy's constant gaze, but not for the reasons of other yesterdays. For a ship sailed that day to the city on the bay, to pick up the boy and to take him away, to make free and make fortune, to find lot and let fate direct the boy's course to a loftier state. So the ship the boy sought was the ship that sought he, called by her captain the Opportunity. He dreamed of the day from that spot in the tree where he sat with his eyes fixed on the sea, scanning the line where the water meets air, in search of a ship to be caught in his stare. And as his eyes squinted in thorough scrutiny, there appeared a black dot at the edge of the sea. He flew from the tree in one overjoyed bound, and soon was halfway in descent of the mound. But he stopped with a thought that turned him around, making back towards the spot to assure what he'd found was not just a seabird he took for the brig, when he seen in an instant o'er a tree's falling twig. This ship, the boy thought, that I saw from the tree was just a wish-shapen dot in the depths of the sea. Perhaps what I saw was a cave below the brine, the grave of ancient men taken once upon a time. Perhaps my night visions have invaded my day, like sailors see mermaids in the same kind of way. So back up the hill and back up in the tree, the boy climbed for assurance for what he wanted to be. The boy in the tree, with light in his eyes, searched the brim of the seas at the base of the skies, retracing his glances for a blemish of the dark he seen in an instant and took for the ark. He found it again, that very same spot, but the ship he had seen looked just like a dot. He waited a tick, through the branches he peeped, as the dot took the shape of a ship on the deep. The boy in the wreath of the tree's leafy curtain heard himself breathe as its shape grew more certain. The truth of the sloop could be questioned no more as she cut through the waters and came for the shore. The ship was as real as the bark of the tree, which was oak like the ship the boy saw on the sea. Now the boy granted himself a small smile. He'd set sail for fortune as the sun set in a while. So, like a bird lights, from his crow's nest he leapt to the ground, and the dreams from his sleep he had kept, but now doubted, it seems, in his haste down the hill. A thought caught the boy, and it wasted his will. Though surely a ship, is this the right boat? The thought tied a knot like a rock in his throat. Is this tiny liner upon the briny swell? The opportunity, how can I tell? What if this ship, this skiff that I see, what if this skiff is not the ship that seeks me, but a ship with no name, not the opportunity? And as the boy's visage grew sullen and pale, an answer arrived, like a bird on the gale. He knew he would know by the dye of the sail, for the tale of the ship every boy had been told, of her ebony oak and her sails sewn in gold. His face flushed with hues of pink he had been, as the boy to the tree rushed once again. Now awaiting the time for his ship to come in, just close enough to capture the hint of sails blowing in the wind, glowing golden in tint, he clambered up the tree as fast as he'd gone. His heart beat like a rhythm of the waves' distant song. Deaf to the din of the leaves in the wind, the boy studied the ship from the tree he was in. Discerning the distance from tree to his hill, the boy calculated the minutes until the complexion of sails could be determined as they, like the leaves, blew in the wind. The boy chewed his lip as her course was steered. Larger and larger grew the ship as she neared. As the sun slipped slowly through the pink skies, the gold of the sails reflected in the boy's eyes. Set in the pink face which glistened in sweat, he'd left 2 times that day, but hadn't left yet. And now a 3rd time the boy set on his way, down the tree, down the hill, toward the town on the bay. My ship will soon dock, the boy talked as he walked, and take me away to make my lot. And there the boy stopped with a miserable thought. But what if the captain, my captain, forgot? What if my ship never comes ashore? What if my captain doesn't want me anymore? What if the clipper I've dreamed about most sailed toward the town but never reached coast? What if the ship that hailed from the stars and touched every seaport never touched ours? And now what if the craft turned on its path and the waft of the wind never carried it in? What if the ship on the shore never lands and crash my dreams like tides to the sands? So like the boy feared the clipper would do, he turned in his course to the tree that he knew. And that was the thought flowing through the boy's mind, as slowly the hill, then the tree the boy climbed. He took the same spot on his favorite limb. It was comfortable, he noticed, a good fit for him. The best place for sleeping, reading, daydreaming of the day that had come and the ship that was streaming toward the boy and the bay and the city in the shade of the hill, with the tree and its boy who laid in it still. The sun coming down made the ship's silhouette. Golden sails faded back, but he wouldn't leave yet. The boy had seen the ship dock with his eyes, for fear that promise of fortune were lies. He felt sick to his stomach like he heard he would be, when his legs left their land and took to the sea. Today he'd leave home and never return, the opportunity taken, a destiny earned. But the view he'd forsaken caught the boy once again. When sails were let down, his ship had come in. All doubts now departed, hope reigned in their steed. His fears were behind him and a journey ahead. At last glanced from his tree to the still sinking sun. Sure, the boy thought, now I'll have to run. But I know the roads to the boat that seeks me, true to its name, the opportunity. With a leap from his tree, the boy made his start. Down the hill his feet raced with a pound of his heart. He stopped only once to his tree, made his part. The boy gazed a goodbye to his old faithful tree, his friend who had held him as he gazed to the sea. And there the boy turned at the foot of the hill. At the edge of the town he must steer his way still. Once more in a sprint the boy made his way through the streets and the crowds more crowded today than the boy in his years had ever recalled. He was slowed by the throng and several times stalled. If it weren't for the crowds in this cursed place, he thought, one time stopped as sweat dropped from his face, enough to catch breath, which shortened his pace. But only for moments, and then he was gone. Weaving his way through the roads he ran on. But never before did the street seem so long. He chose these roads, less traffic he knew. Like a fish through the reef, through the mobs the boy flew. He thought as he ran of the ship at the bay, and leaving this land, for this was his way, to make free and make fortune, to find lot and find fate, direct his course to a loftier state. His lungs burned in his chest, and his legs burned below, but the boy kept on pushing like he didn't know. He ran with his whole soul, he ran with his might, running from an old and to a new life. And as his speed fell, so did the sun. And as he grew nearer, it grew harder to run. The sun sunk below the distant sea line, as his nose caught a breeze with the scent of the brine. He was there, and he pushed, his insides aflame, the opportunity there by nature and name. As the boy reached the bay, and the night overtook day, his hopes, his fortune, the ship, was sailing away. He ran out on the dock, his mouth open to yell, but he sputtered and coughed, and hopeless he fell. Attempting to scream without breath made him choke, as he lay on the dock like tree and ship made of oak. When at last he caught his breath, the ship was too far away to hear the boy she had sought, but she thought never came. His feet hung from the dock, his head hung in despair. With this boy's thought, I missed the opportunity, assuring it was there. An old man lies in the tree on the hill, overlooking the town where it's spoken of still, of the night of the great sea level rise, from the leagues of tears fallen from the boy's eyes.